Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's all about NLC and the federal government saga. It's all about Mr. President sign or else what? With me here in the studio is the lecturer in UNIBEN, Dr. Godwin Igaro. Welcome to the show. I appreciate your coming. He's one sitting my extreme left, putting on the suit. Yeah, brown suit. I love your suit.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to be here.
All right. Sitting very close to him is a human rights activist, comrade, right? Jonah Ehiusu. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I appreciate your coming. Okay, sitting very close to him also is a legal practitioner. It's been like eons. You know, it's been like, well, it's been long. The PRO, right, of NBA Edo State chapter. Okay, Benin branch. Benin, oh, they have branches now. Yeah, okay, Benin branch. Barrister Douglas Ogbankwa. Welcome to the show, Barrister Douglas.
Well said.
All right. And of course, we have a security expert. Yes, he was once in the police force and is a public affairs commentator. Join me, welcome Mr. Isaac Asemota. Welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning.
I appreciate your coming.
Happy with you. Thanks.
All right. Gentlemen, here we are. The battle has been on for almost a year now. Agreement has been reached, but fulfilling the agreement seems to be Herculean. Labour, federal government. Right now, an ultimatum has been given by Ayuba Waba, talking about the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress. As I would say, the struggle continues. Let me start off from my lecturer friend, Dr. Godwin. How do you really feel about his impasse?
Well, I like to say that for a struggle that started and a lot of combative negotiations were put in place, mass protests, and we finally have arrived at something, and that is supposed to spell welfare to the Nigerian workers. For that, the final stage of it, which is a presidential assent, to be delayed, is not something quite palatable. Because if you look at it, you wouldn't say you were not prepared for it. You have not prepared your mind for it. You have not prepared your office for it. Something that has been going on for close to a year and 6 months should come and to your office with a good heart of welcome and a kind of an almost immediate assent or approval, so that you could also put some smiles on the faces of workers who have been there, you know, living far below a good standard of living. Just something that will spell welfare for them should be given immediate approval by the president. So if the workers are coming out today, the labor unions are coming out today to say they are not going to agree to any type of delay, they need unconditional approval, it's not something wrong. It ought not to be anyway, for a very proactive leadership. So that's my feeling.
All right. You as a human rights activist, comrade Jonah Ehiusu, it's like the battle is ongoing. As people like saying that Caesar, the elections have come and gone despite the retinues of petitions here and there. It's going to be an uphill task for this administration to yield to labor.
Well, thank you very much. As a human rights activist, I want to say that I am particularly worried and very much ashamed that at this time of our national life, we are still talking about the issue of national minimum wage. One would have expected that Mr. President, having come to government with the mantra of change, would have done a lot differently. I do not think it's good enough for him to allow himself to be conquered by political gladiators who believe that their belly is more important than the poor masses who have always served them. I want to say that if Mr. President believed in his change agenda without any further delay, he should as soon as possible as a matter of urgent public interest, sign that bill into law immediately. I cannot imagine that in a country where people who actually make governance function, they are begging to have an upgrade of their source of livelihood. You can imagine that you drive across Nigerian roads today, you see convoy, unnecessary convoy, people in government moving here and there, the organized party, and they spend billions of naira, are to pay 30,000 naira minimum, which is what we should be discussing. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so ashamed that at this time we are still discussing the issue of national wage.
He said it's so embarrassed, it's so ashamed that at this time we are still discussing the issue of national minimum wage. Barrister Douglas Ogbankwa, but on this platform you're speaking as Barrister Douglas Ogbankwa, not as a PRO, right? It's
personal, yes.
Personal. So talk about your own personal issues. How do you feel about it?
I feel appalled, particularly because if you look at the trajectory that led us to this point, it's something that has been painstakingly done with so much meetings, negotiations, horse trading, passing of laws. Let me just give a little bit of a background. When the issue started, the organized labor brought out their own figures, 52,000 naira as the minimum wage, and what they want as a minimum wage. Now, the federal government said it was too much. So in order to meet an agreement, the federal government set up a tripartite technical committee made up of the federal government, organized labor, and the organized private sector, which was headed by the former head of service, Mrs. Amakwaku. They met, agreed on a particular figure, and submitted the report to the President Muhammadu Buhari. He, in his own wisdom, set up a technical committee to review the report of that tripartite committee. The committee was headed by Mr. Bismarck Uriwani. It was based on that they sent a proposed law to the National Assembly for possible passage. Now, the Senate and the House of Representatives, excuse me, in their wisdom, now met.
Sorry.
Excuse me. And they now approved 30,000 naira as the minimum wage. These, the national minimum wage amended, you know, that's amended, yes, 2019, which they are presented to the president to sign. So why will the same president who was part of the previous negotiation, you reviewed, though what is submitted was 27,000 naira. You wanted the minimum wage to be 27,000 naira. But the representatives of the Nigerian people, the National Assembly, those who we voted have said no, that 27,000 naira is too less for our people. We want 30,000 naira. You as president, you have refused to sign the bill into law. Now, that I need to bring the legal aspect to it. If the president does not sign within the constitutionally acceptable threshold of 30 days, the bill will revert back to the National Assembly, and the National Assembly can override the president's veto by 2/3 majority. So I want to assure Nigerians that all hope is not lost.
Okay, now.
And so the bill can also be passed without the president signing it, because the Constitution gives the representative of the people the powers to override the president's veto.
All right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that, right? The president's veto. Well, for you, sir, Isaac Asebota, Barrister Douglas Ogbankwa gave the foundation of how it all started. Other speakers also have spoken at length. What do you really imagine that will be going on in the mind of the president that is leading to the delay in making it a law?
Thank you very much. From the explanations of the barrister and others, I'm very happy that the issue of 30,000 naira minimum wage is not at stake. They have all agreed. It's only how or when is going to, the president will assent to it that matters now. But I want to say that no matter how delayed it is, certainly the president is going to sign it. I'm speaking up politically. I'm not any member of the party anyway. But the truth of the matter is that, to me, I will have all the blames on the labor union. And I will use this opportunity to beg that they should not go for any strike.
Hold on. Before you start heaping the blames on them, why?
Yes. You see, with the Professor Chino Achebe, blessed memory, he said it is fall apart. He said, Proverbs are palm away with which words I did. That's why I want to illustrate it with this. Assuming, look at this scenario, it's a rhetorical question. Assuming the Labour Congress, they are the Mami water in the sea. Then President Buhari is on his journey. At the center of the river, if the Labour Congress, that is the Mami water, asked President, do this for him, do that, he will quietly do it. What am I saying? Where were they when they were doing during about a month to election? Why can't they tell them, we want to do this? And the president will immediately, because he knew what is ahead of him. And the man was so intelligent. They must have sat somewhere and said, what are we going to do for us to win this election? Somebody must have said, don't you know that police is one of the most important people there? Then they now came and said, okay, tell the world that I'm going to increase the salary of the police. Constable will be receiving 100,000 others will be receiving million, this and that. Police is my first constituency, and don't ask me how I get to know of these things. Today, till date, police, because they said then, 1st of March, they will receive their money. Till date, we are talking. The money each of these officers are added to their money. It's not up to 2,000 or 3,000 naira. From their previous money, quote me anywhere, and the police officers, everybody, they are hearing me as I'm talking now. They were not paid. The president was very intelligent to know that why didn't Labour Congress seize the opportunity of that elections for that presidency to ask for this minimum wage, whether this man will not sign it within a second.
Wow.
Now, I'm happy about that.
Right,
if a Labour Congress were to be a child, I would wipe his ass.
Hold on, now watch your emotions. This is saying watch your emotions. Watch your language, please, because here we mind our language. Whatever they say here is our own opinion. It has nothing to do with ITV Radio. It's our own personal opinion. We're doing our best to make sure they follow the rules and regulations governing the airwaves. Now, he heaped the blame on Labour. He talked about their timing. They had the time to hold the presidency now, so to speak, on the jugular to give them what they want. Can you liken this to a missed opportunity?
Actually, I don't want to see it that way. I like to see it as a system that has lost value, has lost a sense of value. Someone says when your sense of value is lost or is poor, you will miss your flow of virtue. A situation where you are telling Labour Union to hold the president in the jugular so that they can receive 30,000 naira. You are saying Nigerian workers has not protested hard enough, has not shown stiff muscles, have not shown ugly faces, sad faces, so that they can get 30,000. It's as a result of a breakdown of a sense of value, a loss of a sense of value. Look at it. 30,000 naira today is around $84. There was a time Nigerian workers were receiving, we were receiving 18,000. That's where we are coming from anyway. And there was a time that 18,000 was $115. And today, if we look at it from the dollar point of view, we are fighting for $85 today. Whereas we are coming from sometime in the past when this old amount was $115. Now, if the Nigerian system has value for its workers, that this thing translates to the quality of life of the workers, it has no need for someone to go out protesting, pushing the leadership to get this simple thing done. The foundation is that the system has lost value for its people. That is the foundation. It's not the weakness of the one that wants to fight to get it. It is a problem coming from leadership, loss of value for people. The same way value system is lost for the common Nigerian that doesn't have a job, the sick Nigerian, the aged Nigerian. The same way it's also translated to the workers. So it's a time for the Nigerian people, organized labor, to start pushing for internalization of better value. Conscientized minority will begin to conscientize the unconscientized majority in terms of value.
Wow, lots of conscientization there. Let me use that word now. He heaped the blame on Labour, while Dr. Igaro is heaping it in the system. if you want to play the blame game, are you going to blame Labour for not seizing the opportunity? Yusuf?
Yes, I want to throw my weight behind my brother here, who has blamed Labour for missing the opportunity. I want to also state very unambiguously that political attitudes have been embedded in Labour practice in Nigeria as of today. I want to say that the fact that Labour came down from 52,000 to 30,000 to me make them magnanimous enough for this government to have very quickly signed the 30,000 into law before any other agitations comes up. Having said that, Labour in itself is not united. I don't see them as people who are speaking in one voice. To me, they are more of politicians than Labour leaders. If in a country where Labour has everything to do as far as the minimum wage is concerned, which is backed by law, and they failed, when I saw Labour resorting to protest here and there, I was laughing. Labour could no longer hold Nigeria to ransom so that they would do what is necessary. And for Labour to be given an ultimatum every now and then, it has become a mockery of the whole system. It no longer makes sense to me as a person, because they are likely also to shift the May 1st or whatever if, for instance, the president fails to sign. So for how long do we continue with this? And then you see Labour leaders all around driving in Prado Jeeps. Where did they get the money from? And you call for strike in less than 2 weeks, and your pocket is swelling up, and you have called off the strike, and people say so people have gone to strike. They should stop deceiving themselves. Labour should stop deceiving themselves. The Nigerian workers should realize that the confidence they have in their leadership is not good enough. Some of them should start thinking. And we, the masses who are Nigerians, I think we should, it's high time, whether we are workers or we are not, whether under the payroll of the government or not, it's high time we all join the forces so that we can hold government to ransom and ensure that they pay 30,000 naira. It's meager. Everything has changed. In the past, when national minimum wage was first 18,000 naira, we know the cost of commodities in the market. And now everything has changed. House rents have skyrocketed, foodstuff have skyrocketed, and you are arguing about paying 30,000 minimum wage. I'm so ashamed. I'm so ashamed.
Wow, the second time you're saying you're so ashamed, ending it in shame, your own comments. Obankwa, it's like you are deep in thought. Could you please give expression to what you're thinking about?
The first problem is that, as we speak, the projected funds to fund this minimum wage is not even in the 2019 budget of the federal government or of any state of the federation for that matter. So, you see, we are very good at in grandstanding in this country. The Labour leader, you Harvard, has said that does he not know that that thing is not in the budget? Even if the president signs it today, how is he going to fund it? Because you cannot take money from national purse without appropriation. Yes, that's basic law. So if this thing is not budgeted for as we speak, how are you going to get the money paid? So we should, I think I align with my brother here, Mr. Oyosu, by saying that so these Labour leaders, they should be true to themselves. Because their followers are, some of them do not know how the system works. They just go and like sheep without shepherd. They should ask themselves some very critical questions. If in any of by happenstance the president signs that law, how is it going to be paid? How will the minimum wage be paid?
Even the state and
local. Do you understand? So there are many issues involved in the matter. For this minimum wage to be paid by the state, you have to review the current revenue allocation formula. The federal government has too much when they bring nothing at all. Or let's say, let me not be too hard on them, when they bring so little. Most of the money we use in running this country comes from the states. So you have a scenario, we, even when I was in school, we are very called for fiscal federalism. Let the states that bring these funds, let them retain at least 50%. And send 50% back to the federal government. That is what happened in the First Republic. That was, the derivation was, when you derive, you sent it was not the other way around. Nigeria is the only country in the world where states will make money And the federal government will turn the states to cash cows. The money will go to the federation account. You will see Minister of Finance flying to Abuja. Then they will start sharing money as if they are sharing the so-called national cake. In other parts of the world, the state of Texas is richer than many countries in the world. Because when they produce oil, they retain a greater part for their own use and send the rest to the federal government. So this country needs total restructuring. The way we are now, we are operating on autopilot. There is no structural system in place that can run a country as complex as this. It's just wake up every day, okay, we thank God we are here today. Tomorrow we wake up. There is, if you look at, okay, I've just told you now that the minimum wage is not even budgeted for.
Okay, now, that is another angle to this discussion. Is not reflected in the minimum wage, and Labour wants to, how will I put it now, they've given an ultimatum 1st of May. All this, is it flip-flam, or someone is playing high-powered politics with the Nigerian workers?
My brother, I want to beg the Labour Union, they should please not go on strike, because the innocent people will suffer the consequence. The president will not have the impact of whatever is going to happen. I will have to beg them. Then on the other side of our president, I have to beg him too, to please ensure that this 30,000 naira minimum wage is paid, because average human being, maybe before the age of 50, when you do anything, you think that maybe somebody else will pay you back. That is the belief. But when you are 70 and above, you don't think like that is what I'm begging the president now. He might be thinking now, what am I going to get from them? Or will they help me or help my children? I have gotten enough. He should not think of that. He should think of where he is going. I pray God to give me a long life. When you die, where will you live after? Are you going to live in a good place or in the other side of it? That is what you should be thinking. Think of the effect before God. The children of God, they are crying that the money, 30,000 naira is not even up to half of what they are supposed to be paid. If minimum wage is 100,000, it's not even enough. No talk of just 30,000 naira, you don't want to pay them. The children of God, they are crying, and you are happy. You should not be happy, and I'm sure he's not happy. That is why I'm begging. You should ensure you pay them this money immediately. Because everybody, where am I? I will be thinking of my life hereafter. So I believe he also thinking of his own. Let him not think that because he's above 70, he doesn't mind. We are all going to meet our Lord God. You should please pay this money immediately.
No, you're coming from the appeal point. Okay, that's cool. But see, the question is still hanging. Is this a political gimmick? Because right now, from what Barrister Bankwa talked about, he said it's not even reflected in the budget, and Labour is given the 1st of May. Is this all politics or just flim-flam?
I think first thing first, let the assents be given, so that we know that document is already available for action to be taken. You know, if we now, after signing it, the whole world will now come to realize that perhaps it's not political, it's not a political game, it's not gimmick. There's a value for the Nigerians. I see talk from the point of view of value. There's a value for the Nigerian workers, so it has been assented to. So that one, the document is there. The logistics as per implementation could now be sorted out. For federal government, we do not know budget in Nigeria. When we talk about budgets in Nigeria, it's budgeted for, it's not budgeted for. I still want to believe that we are all speaking English. There are so many things in this country that they are not budgeted for. People, executive, officers, leadership get these things. They have the benefit of these things. Things move, even without, nobody has taken anybody to any court or any prison. Budget in Nigeria is still a scam. That is my belief.
Why? I don't believe.
That's my belief. Why? You have budget and you are supposed to implement. Nobody comes back to reevaluate level of implementation, what is left, what is not spent. We just move on to the next year's budget. So that's a kangaroo. At home, you can have you witnessed that you drop maybe 80,000 naira at home. Say, let's use this for fuel, bread, and all that. somebody tells you it's finished, let's take another 80,000 naira without evaluation. There are budgetary experts who have a way of looking at the monitoring budget implementation, how a budget has been successful. What is the state of success of previous budgets? So when we say something is contingent, is dependent on budget, therefore the thing should not move. There are so many things in this country moving and getting achieved, getting realized, getting done without budget. If you value the people, raise money, things change, economic metrics change, parameters change, value of oil change. At the end of the day, raise money and get this done. Because the fear of federal government saying they cannot do it for their workers, they don't want to sign, they cannot do it for their workers, it's hypocritical. If you talk about states and local governments, we can be having fevers over those because their funds may be what? Minimal compared to almighty, in quote, federal government. My take on the matter is that let the presidential assent be given. First thing first. Whether it was budgeted for or not, to let us know that we have crossed one bridge, then we are looking for a way to cross the other one. That is it. That you are saying you don't want to assign because perhaps there's no fiscal support for what you want to sign, you are deceiving us. It becomes what? A political deception.
Political deception. And so he said budget or no budget, it can be done, it's feasible.
Yes, of course. But I want to say that even if the budget, the national minimum wage bill is signed today, there is still opportunity to withdraw the budget and impute whatever you need to impute to accommodate the new budget if there is seriousness.
Yes.
Having said that, I want to say that if you look at the national minimum wage saga, the real problem I do not think is absolutely from the federal government. The state governments are not exempted in this inability to pay the new national minimum wage. The only thing that we do not do opposition with or play politics with in this country is the issue of minimum wage. Otherwise, one would have expected that some of us who believe that maybe power must change hand can quickly come out to say, I will pay this and that. We have state governors in this country who are not even comfortable with 27,000, not to talk of 30,000 minimum wage. So when we look at the federal government, who is directly responsible to sign on behalf of the nation, we should also find out what are these state governments doing. As soon as the new national minimum wage come up, you start seeing some of the governors frowning here and there, we cannot pay, whereas everything they needed to do, like my brother has said, they do without budget.
Thank you.
Every party they needed to organize, they do. Every vehicle they need in their convoy, they have. I think the federal government under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari, who came to power with a mantra of change, should do a lot to the remuneration of the political office holders, starting even from the National Assembly. Like my brother rightly said that the National Assembly in their own wisdom took the 27,000 naira to 30,000 naira. I think they should start from themselves. They should cut down the millions, the billions they take home on monthly basis, so that the Nigerian state will have some money to give to those who are working, those who are making it possible for government to function in our country. It is not enough to jump there and get cheap political points by saying you have passed the bill into law, it's left for the president to sign. What are you doing to your own remuneration? That a man sits comfortably in our National Assembly in this country and takes home on a monthly basis millions of naira. It's an embarrassment to us. I do not give glory to such people who will come and want to take cheap political points that they have passed the national minimum wage. I want to hear that it appears that the federal government has no money to pay, and therefore we have decided to cut down on our own salaries. It should not be on one side.
Okay. Still on budget, they said we don't need a budget to pay this. We can just go there, just grab it and just move, because after all, some of the things according to them being done by the government, most of the time is not budgeted.
I disagree. It's so easy for us in this country to say this. I seem to know a little bit of what happens when it comes to the budgeting process. spending money without appropriation is a gross misconduct. You could be impeached for that. Why I share what I would call I share their passion for the poor, for the downtrodden, because everything we are saying, let's just be very frank. Whether it's 18,000, whether it's 5,000, it will not affect any of us. We are thinking about these people, you understand, who will wake up every morning. If they don't earn their salary, they can't feed their family, they can't send their children to school, they can't buy fuel in their vehicles, they can't meet their obligations. And this 18,000 naira was last reviewed in 2011. Even as we speak, some state governors are not even paying that 18,000 naira. And just like my friend Oyosu just said, a Nigerian senator earns more than the president of the United States every month. That is very wicked. What do you do? What exactly do you do that you earn more than the most powerful man in the world? That is even aside their earnings. When you talk about extra codes, when these people go abroad, the thousands of dollars that they carry, then I've been to the National Assembly. When you see the vehicles in their convoy, it is wicked for those people to be living such a life when Nigerians are suffering. So I think we need a re-evaluation. The Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission. Well, I don't know what they are allocating, what they are remunerating. They are remunerating only for the rich. You see them jacking up. There was a time about 5 people from the National Electricity Regulatory Commission shared about 3 billion naira. And when Nigerians raised an uproar, do you know what they said? We didn't do anything illegal. And we asked why. They said because it was approved by the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. And they brought the documents. Because those people are members of the board of the National Electricity Regulatory Commission. So we need a little bit of evaluation in this country. If a governor comes to your occasion, the president comes to your occasion, the Senate President, the House of Reps Speaker comes to your occasion, if he's there for 6 hours, the engine of his vehicles for those 6 hours, they are all running. They don't put on their engines. Is that not fair enough? It's not our money that they are wasting away like that. You see them organizing lavish parties, spending our money as if it's going to go out of fashion. So, if Nigeria is in recession, as they say, or is coming out of recession, I don't know which one they say it has come out, but I've not seen anything that is showing that. We should be able to cut down our expenses. Because if 4 years ago, or during the years of PDP, the years of abundance, so to speak, the senators are receiving the same money that they are earning now in these same years of, so to speak, recession, it is a wicked thing for you to do. That is why you see they always want to die. They don't mind if they die or they keep people to
No. They are there to serve the people, okay? Okay, please watch your language now, but
okay, I will draw that statement. Then again, why did it take the government, President Buhari and the National Assembly, so little time to sign the money that was used for the election?
We'll come to that.
That's why I agree with my brother here, Mr. Semuta, that the organized labor would have seized the opportunity of the election to get what they wanted. They missed their flight.
They missed their flight. All right. Now, you talked about the promise made to the police because that is your constituency, so to speak. Your first constituency, your primary constituency is like they made a promise to them during the election, and after the election, nothing was done about it. Now, do you still have that same notion that even if the presidency is being pushed to the wall to sign it, will this be feasible? No, if only whether some governors are even complaining that they cannot pay, they attain talk less or talk more of the 30,000 naira.
They can pay. Why I said they can pay is that, you know, Nigeria dictionary, in quotes, is enriched almost every day. How? There was a time Nigeria was in a very serious situation. There was no solution because it was not in the constitution. They came out to call that issue, say, a child of necessity. That was how they solved that problem then. They can use the same system, the National Assembly can use that same process in that child of necessity to bring out money and pay this minimum wage. If they can bring out that idea then, they should bring it out now.
Child of necessity?
Yes. Let this minimum wage be a money of necessity. They should bring it out now. If they have the minds, the feelings of the poor people at heart, there's nothing they cannot do. And the money is there. What about the whole money people stashed away during just some years ago? Maybe the ministry of the oil ministry. I don't know whether the person is a woman or a man, but I know billions of naira were stashed away. All those money, where are they? Let them use a child of necessity to bring that money now and pay this minimum wage. Let them stop deceiving our people. But if I was to be the whole Nigerian, they can't deceive me twice. Because there's another, they say, if you trick me once, you are a fool. But if you trick me twice, I'm a fool. All this problem now, when the election is coming, they will give a promise. I'm going to do that. Hallelujah. People will start going. At the end, you will be shedding tears. And you can't learn from your past mistakes. That was why I was saying, not that in totality I hate labor. Because they don't seize the opportunity to do what they are supposed to have done at that particular time. You know, our Excellency President Buhari, you know how hard he is. You see, if you see a goat now, the child, if he's sucking, he hits it with a sort of seriousness because it is hard to get water, milk from there. That's why you see the child hitting it like this. That is Buhari for you. If you don't hold him here, you can't get it from him.
Are you sure about
Yes.
it? Because right now you're talking as if you know him one-on-one. Do you know him one-on-one? Because I believe that he has the workers in his heart. He really wants to do it.
And he has the heart of. That's what I'm telling you. That was why I appealed to him that he should, because of God, pay this money.
Because of God, the money. Now, he's talking about hard knock.
Yes.
That labor should take the hard stand. He gave an example of a kid trying to get milk from the goat. They so hate to get the milk. Would labor do that? As saying, go with a hard approach. And whenever you talk about hard approach, that means strike is one of the hardest approach in the hands of the labor. Do you see them doing it?
Anyway, if the value aspect fails, that the government does not want to show that they value the Nigerian worker to do it without fight, then I think the only option that may be left for the labor is to go the way of industrial action. However, the fate of industrial action in Nigeria, that is a big question. What has it achieved? Has it not been sabotaged in the past? Has it not failed people? So that's why the effectiveness may be affected. Whenever they call for it, it may be affected because in previous one there have been compromises. However, if there's not going to be compromise, if there's going to be seriousness, earnestness in doing it, I think it's an effective tool. Because the philosophers will say that you will not get your freedom on the platter of gold, in the sense that the oppressed will not be released by the oppressor without some element of fighting and all that. So if that's the way they want to go, it's okay. But I want to let you know, for the so-called super belief in budgets, that without budget, things cannot be done.
Still on budget.
Yes, so I want to let you know, because one thing is that when it comes to money economics, or call it moneyology, the Nigerian leadership is so smart that whatever they want to get that benefits them, if you like, let it not be budgeted for, they will get it. Whatever has an impact on their own lives personally, to enrich them, to make them go to the next level, they won't speak the language of budget. There are ways they will mobilize monies from different areas and they will get it done. But when it comes to the common man, the masses, you now start hearing economic terms like downturn, it's not budgeted for, met down. This English don't apply to their class. It don't apply to their class. That is my take. So money can be mobilized. There's the concept of supplementary budget. In this country, we have a budget padding. All the English, different English adjective will come in when things are to be done. Like our ex-police officer just said, if they can raise the money from even state, if they have the will, when they say a will, there will be a way. Nigeria, there's so much money in this system, but there's very little will to use the money to do the right thing. That is it. Let's start deploying the money, sublimating it into doing the right thing, rather than doing things that are so kind of in quote, like our daddy was trying to bring in the issue of spirituality into it, a payo, so that you go to the right place. So, sir, I'd like to tell you that when you are praying for God to touch somebody's heart, it's somebody that has a heart that God will touch you. People have lost their hearts. The leadership of Nigeria, I don't even think they have a heart. When we say heart, in my own concept too, they have a heart that pumps the blood. But what about the heart, the feelings for the people? That's why I still come to the basis of value. In developed countries, they have value for their citizens, so much that they determine that if a citizen works for 1 hour, this is how it should be paid. This is what things that welfare-oriented decisions, because you have feelings. By the time you lost your feeling, you don't have a heart, you can't have feeling. You may have a biological heart that pumps your blood, but what about the heart that feels for people? If you lost it, you lost it. Somebody is praying, touch. If somebody does not have a heart, just think that for God to touch.
All right, now, still talking about hearts and feeling, he talked about hardness. You need to go to the hard approach. He made a statement. He said that the president's heart is hardened, that Nigeria need to really punch. But is it about the heart of the president or circumstances and situation confronting the nation?
For me, I don't want to dabble into whether the president is hard or soft. I want to use this medium to tell Mr. President that he must remember that he contested for presidency severally before he eventually emerged the president in 2015. And that most of us who believed that he had to become the president never imagined in our entire life that at this stage we will be talking about signing 30,000 naira minimum wage, meager 30,000 naira minimum wage into law. Mr. President must remember that we have once trusted him, that he still has time to prove to Nigerians that he doesn't need to be knocked.
All right, now you just hold on before you finish your own idea, or will I say what you perceive on this discourse. We want to go for a break. When we return, we will continue from where we stopped. Do stay tuned. Thank you so much for staying tuned. We're about to commence our descent on this discourse, all about the delay in the signing of the minimum wage, its consequence. My guests have been talking, giving thoughts to their own, giving expressions to their thoughts rather, and they are making strong points. Gentlemen, we have just 5 minutes to end this segment because I know most of you have something else to do. Okay, now this is what is going to happen. You're going to use 1 minute each to summarize your points. After all, this discourse is a continuum, so to speak. Let me start off with you, Sir Isaac Asamota. What advice do you have for Labour, the federal government, and of course the masses?
I want to advise the federal government to please use that system of charge of necessity to find money to pay for this minimum wage. And I will equally beg the Labour Congress not to go into any strike because the poor masses will suffer it.
Okay, not to go on strike
They should
because
not go on strike.
masses will suffer.
The innocent souls will suffer.
Okay.
The presidents or the people there, they will not know how hard it is.
Okay.
Please, that is my advice.
All right. 1st of May is the deadline. Barrister Bankwa Douglas.
I would say that the federal government should pay the money, the minimum wage is signed into law and provide funding for it immediately. And I also want to remind the federal government that since after the elections, we've not been seeing the trader money. What is happening?
Seriously?
Yes.
You have to go into that now. Right now.
According to them, it's what they're using for artisans and it's going on.
All right.
We believe what people are saying that it's buying.
All right. Thank you, Barrister Douglas Obankwa. And you, Sir Jonah?
Well, let me just say, as I was saying earlier, that the federal government need not be reminded or need not to be knocked hard to realize that the betterment of the masses, the innocent masses, should be taken care of.
All right. Thank you so much, Barrister Dr. Igaro, please.
Okay, I like to say that the federal government or state government, private sector, they should value the Nigerian workers so that your value for them will make you do the right thing for them in terms of welfare. Then, of course, I like to also say that, please, state government, federal government, local government, when you are getting ready to pay this money, don't adjust the system by laying off some workers. Don't adjust the system by placing embargoes on employment. The system needs to be boosted for greater productivity. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate a wonderful analysis. You've heard them. May 1 is the deadline. Let's see who will bend, who will break, who will get what they really deserve. We'll be right back after this break.